Welcome to ProgrammingKT. I am explaining about what are the methods present inside optional class. In last video, I already covered what is optional class, why optional class was introduced, for that how to handle null pointer exception by using optional class. So let me start with first method in this video. So first method, it is empty. Moreover, the first three are the static methods. These three methods are used to create optional class container object. So we can access static methods by using class name, right? That's why optional dot empty. I am trying to assign to variable empty. Next I am trying to print empty. So it will print like optional dot empty. Now let me try to run. So it prints optional dot empty, right? So let me show you one diagram, then you can understand why we are using, this empty static method will be useful. So if we can consider here, black box is the optional class container object, left side one that holds user object, right side one container object that has empty value instead of null. So with this only we can avoid null pointer exception. So to create empty container object, we use empty static method. So next method will be off. So off also static method, right? How we can access by using class name of optional dot of. It is expecting parameter type t of value. So any type of value it can hold. Here I am trying to pass value called one integer 14. I am trying to assign to a variable. Now I am trying to print that variable. I can print it optional of 14. Optional is a container object that holds value 14. So this is about of static method. Moreover, that when you are trying to pass parameter to of static method, that must be non-null value. Otherwise, you will get null pointer exception immediately. Let me show you. If I can pass null here, I will get null pointer exception at exactly line number 18. So this is the one point you need to remember when you are using of static method. Value must not be null. So next one will be the ofNullable. ofNullable also static method, right? Definitely I will use class optional dot of nullable. Any value we can pass here also. If we can observe parameter optional of nullable object here. So here I am trying to pass simple string value optional class avoid null pointer exception. So this is the simple sentence I am trying to store into a string variable. So now I am trying to assign. Next I am trying to print it of nullable. Now let me try to run. So optional is a container object that holds now string value. So if I can remove here this string, if I can provide null, so now I won't get null pointer exception. I will get instead of optional dot empty instead of null pointer exception. Why? Because if we can observe internal implementation of nullable method, once you pass the value of type t, the value is null, it will return optional dot empty. Exactly, we are getting right. So if the value is not null, then optional of container object. Like this optional of 14. Here you can pass any value, it will return like optional of corresponding provided value. So is the usage about ofNullable static method. Next one will be get method. So get method is used to access the value that exists inside optional container object. So let me show you. I am trying to access value from of container object. How I can access? I will show you. Dot get. Now let me try to run. So previously container object that holds 14. Now I am using get method to access value exist inside of container object. Now I print the value 14. So this is the usage about get method that exists inside optional class. Next one will be isPresent. IsPresent method is used to check if the value exists inside that optional container object or not. So let me try to implement here an example for isPresent. So I am trying to consider variable ofNullable dot isPresent. I am trying to print dot get. Now let me try to run. So I did not get. Why? Because optional of nullable is empty. That's why this block if statement won't execute it. Let me try to write one else statement. Now let me write one more s out. When is present, I can provide value like else is present. Now let me try to print. I'm trying to consider this statement. So else is present. Why? Because is present is false. That's why immediately it entered into else block. If I can provide value here, any one of the value. Now let me try to run. Oh, I got the value called true. Instead of I can provide here if block and corresponding value. So this is the usage about is present method. So moreover that this approach is recommended instead of directly printing get method. If the value does not exist, if we can apply get method, you will get no such element exception. So let me try to apply here null value and I can write this line here. Now let me try to run. I got no such element exception. So this is not good programming practice. Instead of directly accessing get value, first we need to check if the value is present, then only apply get method. Next method is isEmpty. So isEmpty method is used to check container object is empty or not. So let me write an example for this one as well. So ofNullable. I am trying to use for this example as well ofNullable dot is empty. So if it is empty, then if block will be true. I can write some logic like container object is empty. So if it is empty, is method returns true. Else I will reuse this statement. It is not empty. Now let me try to run. So container object is empty. Why? Because here ofNullable, if it is null, it will return empty, right? That's why here it is entered into else statement. Is empty, right? So it is contain. Not else statement. In first case, here it is entered into else statement. Fifth method. In sixth method, it is entered into if statement. That is a container object is empty. So if I can pass value here. Now let me try to run. So it will be executed reverse in fifth statement. So else if block will be executed in fifth method. In sixth method, container object is not empty. Else method will be executed. So exactly opposite for previous run. So this is the usage about is empty. Next one will be if present. So it will be something replaced with is present, and first we are trying to check if it is present, then only we are trying to print, right? So in one line we can implement all this logic, I mean this logic. So how I will show you. So for that I am using variable like of if present, and it is expecting consumer functional interface. So if you don't know what is consumer functional interface, how it will work, I already make video on this. If you watch it, then you will get some clarity. How consumer will work, it will accept some value but it won't return anything. So I am trying to take that value, just I am trying to print it. Now of present, I mean of container object that holds value 14, right? Yeah, it will be 14 will be printed. Now let me try to run. I got the value 14. So if the value present, you want to do some computational logic, go for if present. So this is the always recommended approach. First we need to check if it exists, then only do some processing. Next one will be orElse. So orElse method is used to provide some default value. If original value is absent, I mean container object hold, I mean if the original value does not contain, then you can provide some default value. So I will use ofNullable. Here I will provide wanted null value, then I will type default value. Here orElse ofNullable or else. Or else method something. I am trying to write some string. Now if I can print that or else, it will print, I mean instead of null, ofNullable is null, right? Ofnullable container object holds null value. So if original value is absent, I am trying to provide some default value or else. So if I can print or else, now let me try to run. So I got the default value, right? So this is about or else to provide some default value. Next method is orElseGet. So let me try to implement logic for orElseGet. So orElseGet is, I mean, exactly similar to orElse, but the difference is instead of providing default value like this, we can provide some functional interface and provide computational logic. We can return it. Let me try to implement example for orElseGet. orElseGet, it is expecting in functional interface that is supplier. So how supplier will work? So for this also I already make video on this. If you don't know, watch it. I am trying to provide some after here. Anyway, I am trying to provide default value directly. Instead of this, you can write your own logic, I mean more than one line, then return your logic, I mean result. Or else get. Now let me try to print that or else get result. Let me show you the output about orElseGet. So here I am trying to provide orElseGet, right? So ofNullable is holds null. That's why default value is provided. Comparing with this orElse, I am providing direct value. You can, if you depending on your requirement, you can implement more than one line. So why it is returning. So if it is only one line, then return is optional. You can remove. So anyway, my intention is to show you if your requirement is more than one line, then you can use this orElseGet. So this is the usage about orElseGet. Next one will be orElseThrow. orElseThrow method will work like, if you want to throw some exception if the input value is absent, in that case orElseThrow will be used. Let me write example for this as well. orElseThrow. orElseThrow is overloaded method, zero arguments and one argument. So I am trying to use one argument. I am trying to throw exception like legal argument exception, value must not null. Now let me try to run. So observe the message, value must not be null. So if the value is absent from container object, we can use this orElseThrow method. So next one will be the ifPresent or else. So ifPresent or else, method is expecting two parameters. Let me show you. First one will be the consumer, second one will be the runnable. Both are predefined functional interfaces only. So the value exists, consumer will be executed, or else runnable run method will be executed. Runnable run method won't have any parameters, right? That's why empty. Next one, I am trying to print simple like, you can say default runnable method, something runnable method. Now let me try to run default runnable method. Why? Because original value is absent. I mean, inside that ofNullable is holding null value. That's why first parameter consumer is ignored. Second one runnable implementation is executed. Next one will be stream. So stream method is used to convert from optional to stream. So I am trying to use optional of integer to optional of integer to stream of integer. I am trying to convert. So once I have stream, then you can apply any number of intermediate operations. So here I am trying to apply for each. I am trying to print the result. Now let me try to I got the value from of container object, that is 14. This one, right? Next one will be the R. So R method are also used to provide default value. Let me show you the implementation, then I will explain. R. So R is expecting supplier when predefined functional interface. So if the original values exist, we can provide with some default value like nullable is empty or default. Moreover that I need to wrap with optional container object. That is the compilation error here it is showing. Now that is gone. Now let me try to assign R. So R default. So to provide some default value using R method also, but the difference is between orElse orElseGet R. So it is expecting parameter is supplier, right? So that is the difference, and moreover that filter is used to, the name itself indicates, right, to do some filtering logic. Now let me try to create one string optional plus avoid null pointers. This is the string I am trying to create. Next I am trying to wrap that object with optional dot of with string. Next I am trying to apply filter. So that given input string contains specific characters. I am trying to apply one of the string is null pointer exception. If present, I am trying to print that value. Now let me try to run. So it is exist. That's why I got the whole string. Let me try to add wantedly one extra character. Now I did not get. Why? Because this characters are does not exist inside that input string. This is the usage about filter. Next one will be the map. So map is exactly I can reuse this example. So to do some mapping logic, map method will be used. So here I am trying to update map. Moreover that I am trying to convert uppercase. Now let me try to run. Now I got all characters in uppercase, right? To do some mapping logic, map method will be used from optional class. So this is the explanation about methods present inside that optional class. So if you learned something new from optional class from this video, please hit on like button and subscribe Programming KT. Thanks for watching.